22:6 right off the bat. But it's not, there's language involved, there's context involved, there's the genre, the kind of literature it is. Is it wisdom literature, right? Is it history? For example, in what Logan preached last Sunday, says what God, with his brothers, in Genesis 50, what God intended for evil, what man intended for evil, God intended for good, for the saving of many lives. So you have this imagery that casts things forward. God's not even mentioned. So if you only read one passage in the story of Joseph, you can make all kinds of nice little moralistic applications and principles, and people do it all the time. But the point of Joseph is read the whole story. Sometimes in the Old Testament, you have to read whole chapters before you begin to see the narrative flow of God. Does that make sense? And what's happening. That's the way the story of Joseph is. God's not even mentioned until the very end. And his brothers are all, oh no, this is Joseph. What are we going to do? What's he going to do to us? What you intended for evil, God intended for good, for the saving of many lives. That's the only time it's mentioned. The rest of the time, God's not even mentioned anywhere. The book of Joseph. So I'm trying to show you different principles. So genre, language, context, meaning, those kind of things. Well, let me go here. I'll get you some more input. We're going to do some. So he's used this premise. Garrett started this. Logan's building upon it in this course, on this core course. It's from the book Postcard from Palestine, A Hands-On Guide to Reading and Using the Bible. And he's talked about 5 looks. We look at the text, look at Scripture as we look up, we look down, we look backward, look forward, and we look here. So look here's the focus for today, and I want you to look here. See the screen? Let's interpret this. What's going on here? What do we know from looking at the evidence in this room? Let's just do what, this is a way of studying the Bible. And people can apply it here, but they don't always apply it when they go to the Bible. So I'm going to use this picture, and we're going to interpret this picture. What do you know when you look at this? What evidence is there here? It's a small child. Do we know the age? No. For possibly, see now we're speculating. The evidence doesn't tell us that, right? But we're using common sense. What else do we know about?
It's a bed that they can get in, not a.
Okay, so it's probably not a baby.
Right.
Okay, what else is going on here? I mean, I know the context. I know the backstory. I just want to see what we can do and how this is an illustration of biblical interpretation. Does this make sense? Yes? Do what?
Like to play house, and their mother is probably the main driving force because look at the broom, the Swiffer, the dustpan.
Okay.
Mimicking somebody they admire.
Mimicking somebody they admire. Okay. That is true. Books are very important in their house. What else do you notice? It possibly could be cleanup day. Who said that? All right. Somebody, what else do you notice? What can you not deduce from this? You can't deduce the gender. You can't deduce the exact age. You can't deduce what? Pride? Oh, race. Can't deduce that. What else can you not deduce from this? Do you see why I'm doing this? Because this is the same stuff when you come to Scripture. Sometimes we'll take a passage and make it say something totally out of its context. And we haven't done the work of looking at the broader context. And in this case, we just have evidence of all these books, a broom, a Swiffer kind of thing there. We see a blanket. We see something. We know we can deduce some things and draw some conclusions. Here's what you don't know. This is my grandson's room. My grandson is 2.5, little over 2.5.